Hello friends, my name is Jabin Shah and today I am going to teach you one of the most important chapter of history of grade 9. Yes, you guessed that right, it is French Revolution. Now, before moving forward and understand what is French Revolution and how it took place, first we need to understand what is the meaning of this term revolution. The meaning of the term revolution is when a large group of people take a action against their government. This action is called as revolution. And how people and why people take action against their government, we all know. When people of the country are not happy with their existing government, when the government is not giving them particular rights and freedom and liberty, then people get frustrated, and then they take a stand for themselves, and they move towards revolution. Now, what was the reason why people of France they took such a big stand and why they went towards revolution? We will unfold all these stories in this particular chapter. For understanding French Revolution, first thing we need to understand is the basic structure or component of the French society. Whole reason behind French Revolution lies whole reason behind French Revolution lies in the structure of French society. French society was divided into three categories, or they were called as states in France. These three categories were: first one was clergy, second one was nobility, and third one was common people. Now, who are clergies? Clergies were the people who used to work in churches. They were popes. They were head of the church. They were the administrator of the churches. Basically, these were the people who were religious head of the society. Second one was nobility. These people were either they were king or queen, or they were the relatives of the king and queen. So they were altogether they were from the family of the noble, and they were family of the rulers. Now, the third state was people consisting of normal people, common people of France. These common peoples were they were some of the they consisted of the 90% of the population of France. They consisted of professionals, educated professionals like doctors, engineers, teachers, lawyers, and also there was farmers, landless laborers. There were extremely poor peoples, beggars. These common people were the third estate in France. Now, what happened with these people? Now, what was the rule in France? Before starting with the rule, we need to know who was the ruler at this time. The name of the ruler is Louis XVI. So, when Louis XVI came to power, there was already 1 billion livre debt on the government. Now, what is 1 billion livre? Livre is the currency of France. So, already the French government was in the debt, and when Louis XVI came to power, he was such a luxurious person. He loved all the luxuries during his entire rule that he doubled the debt, and the debt increased to 2 billion livre. That means that when Louis XVI came to power, there was only 1 billion livre, which rose to 2 billion livres. Now, the people who gave them the creditors, they were asking back their money. To take the money, to give them money, the government was not having anything. So, what Louis XVI thought, that we should increase the taxes and then pay back the loan which we have taken from those creditors. To pay back the loan, Louis XVI decided to increase the taxes. Now, the question is, who were the people who were paying taxes in France? Only third state were paying the taxes in France. So first two states, like clergy and nobility, they were enjoying all the liberty without any responsibility or in on the government, without any pay or any taxes. They were not liable to pay any tax. But this third state, the people who were half of the people were educated, but more than half people were illiterate and landless farmers. They had to pay taxes, and these people, they got worried when they came to know about the tax system, the new tax announcement. They became uncomfortable, and they started discussing things in public places like saloons, like coffee shops, like all the public places. When people discussing, and when they came to know about new tax system, there were some educated people who came with the idea. Those people who went to US, UK, and they studied about liberty, freedom, equality. They started pointing out that why we only are paying taxes. Obviously, it was the obvious reason under the society and in their mind, that why only third state is paying taxes, and two states are just enjoying liberty and just enjoying all the luxuries without paying a single penny in the government. Okay, so this was the foundation. This became the foundation behind French Revolution. um, because at the same time in France, people were suffering from subsistence crisis. Now, what is the meaning of subsistence crisis? Subsistence crisis is a crisis when people are suffering for getting two times a meal. Okay, so people were suffering so much, they were getting so much poor because population had increased at that time, but and there was food shortage. At the same time, their wages were not increased, so people were suffering from subsistence crisis. Even the educated people who were doing jobs, they were not able to feed their family and were finding it very difficult at the time of inflation to pay for their meals. And then people decided to take some action. So they went to Louis XVI and they raised their concern that now we are suffering so much. Subsistence crisis is going on in the society, in the country, and why should we only pay, why only we are paying taxes, and that too why you are increasing the tax rate. In that, on the basis of all these questions, Louis XVI decided to call a convention. Convention means a meeting. So in the meeting, he said that okay, we'll call meeting, and in the meeting votings will happen, and on the basis of voting we'll decide that whether we should increase the rate of tax or not. So they called meeting. So in the meeting, what happened? These third estate people, they were not allowed to even sit in the meeting. They were located on the standing stands, and the people, clergy and nobility, they were given seats. So it was already, they got humiliated with this discrimination. After all the discussion, Louis XVI asked them to vote. But what is the twist in this voting is that he gave only one vote to one estate. So that means nobility will have one vote, clergy will have one vote, and the common people will have one vote. Obviously, because these two were not responsible for paying any taxes, they voted against common people, and there were two vote against one vote, and again the common people lost in this voting, and clergy and nobility voted in favor of increasing the tax rates. Now what happened? These common people, they got really frustrated and they just left the meeting in between, and they assembled in a one court, one place. Okay, and in that one place, they formed a national convention. They formed a national assembly. In this national assembly is equivalent to a congress or a party. So they formed a party and they decided to fight election and reduce the rights of the king and abolish the feudal system in French society. After a long time, after a lot of struggle, King Louis XVI gave this national convention a legal status. When they gave the legal status, when these common people went to Bastille prison, the symbol of French power, and they attacked the Bastille fort. When Louis XVI came to know that these people had attacked the Bastille fort, he got pressurized, and he accepted National Convention as the national party of the France and accepted their terms and conditions. This way, this National Convention kept the foundation of French Revolution. Thank you so much.
Assim, sim.